Good morning, students. Today we are going to study about, already we have started the lesson sources of energy. In that one, in the last class, we have discussed about the source of energy. Then we have seen about the characteristics of good source of energy. We have seen then classifying the classification of source of energy based upon the recycling period. We have discussed as renewable and non-renewable source of energy. Then we have discussed about the conventional source of energy and non-conventional source of energy. This has been classified based upon the availability or the usability of the man or the energy resource. Then we have seen about the fuel. Fuel is nothing but it was a combustible substance which on burning in air produces a large amount of heat, is called as fuel. Then we have seen solid fuel, liquid fuel and gaseous fuel we have discussed. Then we have discussed about the characteristics of ideal fuel we have seen. And in the conventional, when we have started conventional source of energy, in that one we have seen fossil fuel. In fossil fuel we have discussed about the coal. Today we are going to discuss about the petroleum. Petroleum is also a fossil fuel which we will be extracting it from the dead remain of plants and animals, which we have seen in 8th class 8 we have studied. Petroleum is extracted from a nature and is found as a black liquid. It is also called as crude oil or black gold. It is heated from different materials, like we get petroleum jelly, petroleum gas, aviation fuel, tar. This is how we will be drilling out and taking out the petroleum from the crude oil. Actually we will be taking out the crude oil from the sea, as petroleum is a product which we will be getting it from the seabeds, wherein the marine plants and animals have been buried deep into the soil for a long period of time, and these remains will be get deposited under the wells. So we will be either taking out in the form of layers, or by drilling a pipe we will be taking out this crude oil, and this crude oil we will be using it. And in this fractional distillation chamber, once it comes to the refinery, it will be boiled, it will be heated, and at different temperature we will be getting the different fuels. We will be taking it out from solid to it will be converted into gas, as you can see it in the picture. Here we will be getting the refinery used as gas as a fuel. Then we will be getting gasoline, we will be getting, which is used in cars and petrol. Then naphtha we will be getting it. Then we will be kerosene, paraffin wax, paraffin we will be getting it, which is used in the jet engines and planes. Then diesel we will be getting it, which we will be using for trucks. We will be having the fuel oil, which will be used in the ships. Then we will be having lubricant oil, we will be using it, and the residue which we will be getting it is nothing but as a bitumen, we will be using it. So once when it is went to this fractional distillation chamber, at different temperature we will be getting the different oils which we require, we will be using it from the petroleum. Then we have natural gas also, whereas from the fossil fuel we will be getting. This is found near the petroleum or coal mines. It is the cleanest of all the fuels. It does not pollute the underground water. It occurs in two forms, that is LPG and CNG. LPG stands for liquid petroleum gas and CNG stands for compressed natural gas. Then this is how in this crude oil, when we are putting it, we will be getting this type of, at different temperature in a fractional distillation chamber, we will be getting butane or propane as the gas which will be coming out. Then we will get petrol we will be getting at 150 degrees Celsius. At 200 degrees Celsius we will be getting kerosene. At 300 degrees Celsius we will be getting diesel, and at 370 we will be getting fuel oil, and remaining which we will be getting is bitumen, which we will be using as paraffin wax, lubricant oil, or as asphalt. This is how we will be using it. This natural gas LPG, we will be considering it as a liquefied petroleum gas. It contains mainly two components, that is propane and butane. CNG is compressed natural gas, which consists of mainly methane, which is a pure form of gas. Then the second one which we are going to study about the power plant is hydropower plants. The energy of flowing water is being used here to generate the energy. That is, the energy of flowing water is also a potential source of energy for us. Therefore, the energy of flowing water has been used for a long time in doing the following work. Means from olden days we are using this sources of energy, like transporting heavy logs of wood from one place to another, driving water mills to grind wheat and make flour, driving water mills to drive looms which weaves the clothes, driving water mill pumps to run the pumping out of water from the ground. So these were the olden days. We used to use water as a source of energy. But today the human beings are able to utilize the energy of flowing water to drive generators for producing electricity. The power stations where electricity is produced by using the energy of flowing water to drive generators are called as hydropower plants or hydroelectric power stations. The electricity produced at hydropower electric stations are called as hydroelectricity or hydropower stations. So the basic principle for the hydroelectric power plants, first we will be having, like, there will be a high rise dams will be constructed at high altitude, as you can see it in the picture. The river, to obstruct the flow of water, we will be making a dam. Due to this, the water is collected in a reservoir or a man-made lake behind the dam. Like we are having Gobind Sagar Lake, which collects the water from Barhaga Nagala Dam. In this process, the kinetic energy of flowing water get transformed into potential energy of a water and stored behind the dam. As you can see in the picture here, the potential energy of the water, we will be storing it. Kinetic energy of the water, we are storing it in the form of potential energy behind the dam. The stored water in the reservoir possesses a very large amount of potential energy due to its height above the ground. As above the ground, from above the ground we are using it, so it is going to have a high potential energy will be there. In the second step, what we will be doing is, the dam has a small gate at high level. As you can see in the picture, a small gate is there. The opening and closing of this gate is done by a control valve. There, as you can see, one line is been there, that is a control valve will be there. Through this we will be allowing the water to, whenever we require, we will allow the water to flow. When it's not required, we will be controlling with this valve. The water stored in the reservoir behind the dam can pass through this gate when it opens. Once when we are opening this gate, the water is going to flow from this opening. On opening the gate, water from the high level of the dam is carried out through pipes to the turbine. As you can see here, a turbine is there. In this turbine, when the water will be flowing it, this turbine at the bottom of the dam. Since water falls from high level of the dam, it flows at very high speed. Here the potential energy of water is getting converted into kinetic energy. So in the second step, what is happening? It potential energy is getting converted into kinetic energy. This kinetic energy of flowing water rotates the blades of the turbine. Here the kinetic energy of flowing water is converted into mechanical energy of the turbine. Then the turbine is connected with a generator through a shaft. Here, as you can see, a shaft is been there of a generator. When the turbine rotates, its shaft also rotates and makes the armature of the generator rotate rapidly. The moving armature of the generator is magnetic field generated electricity. Here the mechanical energy of the turbine is converted into electrical energy in the generator, as we have discussed in the second lesson about the magnetic field. In magnetic effect of electric current, when we have studied about the electromagnetic induction, wherein once mechanical energy is getting converted into electrical energy, there we have rotated the shaft armature coil. Here the turbine will be rotating the armature coil and the electricity is going to be get generated. The hydroelectricity so produced is fed to step of transformer and then supplied to home industries and transmission lines. As you can see, once this has been done, it will be transferred to the transformer setup will be there. From this transformer setup, it will be transmitted to the other places. So this is a block diagram. You can write it down in your textbook notebook about the block diagram of hydroelectric power plant. So the boxes which you can see in this picture is called as the block diagram of hydropower station, wherein potential energy of the stored water in the dam, first step kinetic energy of flowing water, then kinetic energy is turbine blades are moving it, and this electrical energy is converted into generated into electricity. So this is how we will be getting the hydroelectricity. Then what are the advantages of this hydroelectricity for us? The advantages of hydroelectricity, you have to write it down in the classwork notebook. So the advantages of generating hydroelectricity are: the generation of hydroelectricity in the hydroelectric power plant do not cause any environmental pollution. Means this is environmental friendly because it is not going to pollute the environment. And the energy used here is renewable source of energy, because water is a natural resource. As many times as we are using it, it's going to be replenished fast within the stipulated period of time. So it is a renewable source of energy for us, and this is the cheapest source of energy for us, because hydropower plants constructed to produced at a low maintenance cost. Once the dam is been built, after that we doesn't have to get worried for the maintenance cost, because we are working it with the river water. We are not working it with the sea water. Sea water is going to have more salts present in it, so there the maintenance cost is going to be high for us. But here, as we are working it with the river water, so the maintenance cost is going to be low for us. Hydropower plants constructed to generate electricity are used for multiple projects. Like they can be, first of all, creating a dam is going to control the floods for us, because no floods will be taking place. It will be enable us to use this water for irrigation purposes, as well as this place is going to use as a recreational site for the people to come and enjoy. So these all are the advantages of hydroelectric power plant. At the same time, it is going to have some disadvantages. The disadvantages for construction of the dams are: first, when we construct this dam, we will be losing a very large area of agricultural land and human habitation, towns and villages, as they will be get submerged. So the biggest advantages is more land will be submerged in water. Second disadvantages will be many plants and trees will be get destroyed due to submerging in water in the reservoirs, as well as human and animal life have to migrate from one place to other, so they become rendered to homeless for us. Next is the people displaced from the dam sites need to give satisfactory rehabilitation, which becomes the biggest problem and challenge for the government. The fear of satisfactory rehabilitation lead to the opposition of the construction of Tehri Dam on the river Ganga and Sardar Sarovar project on the river Narmada by the people. Still, the people are fighting for their homes which they have lost because of construction of this Sardar Sarovar Dam and Tehri Dam. Large ecosystem are destroyed when submerged under water in the dams. The vegetation submerged under water rots an anaerobic condition and produces a large amount of methane, which is also called as a greenhouse gas. Hydroelectricity is the cheapest source of electricity, but these plants can be constructed only on a limited place, preferably at the high hills where the altitude of river flows. Means the biggest disadvantages for us is that we can construct this only at some places. At every place we can't able to construct the hydroelectric power plants. Therefore, constructing high-rise dams to generate electricity, special care to be taken regarding the impact of environment and social life. Hydroelectric power plant is a renewable source of energy for us. The water in the reservoir could be refilled each time it rains. The sun heats energy power the flow of water on the earth in the form of water cycle. So hydroelectric power plants can be inexhaustible source of energy for us. about 20% of the power generated in India comes from the hydroelectric power station. So it is a clear and cleanest and the cheapest way of producing electricity on a large scale for us. So these are the advantages and disadvantages of the hydroelectric power plant. In the tomorrow's class we are going to study about the biomass, the second fuel. Today we are ending with this, the advantages and disadvantages. Write down these advantages and disadvantages of hydroelectric power plant in your notebook, as well as draw the diagram. And the students who has not submitted their assignments will be submitting it. The time is over. And even for magnetic effect of electric current, I had given a deadline of 17th June. So till only 17th June whoever has sent will be considered for the assignment sent. Afterwards, who are sending it, for them there will be no consideration of assignments which is sent after 17th June. So please try to submit it before 17th June. Thank you. Stay home, stay safe.